we've just massively messed this up.
You'd think after 4 years of van life across international borders that we might be a bit better at this kind of thing, but we still make stupid mistakes sometimes. We're about to start a new chapter in our adventure, driving from the top of Alaska to the bottom of Argentina, by crossing into Mexico and officially beginning our journey through Latin America. But it wouldn't be fun if it was easy.
Babe, this isn't right.
Subscribe and join us for the ride with new videos every Sunday.
It means that we're technically illegal.
If you watched last week's video, you'll know that we should be in Mexico by now. We've been stuck in the States for the past few weeks, waiting on some important parcels to arrive, and we've had some brake issues. Next week, our visas run out, and we have asked you guys to keep your fingers crossed so that everything aligns in the next few days. You see that there? That is the border wall between the US and Mexico, which means we're going to Mexico. Our parcels arrived. They're here, and this superhero fixed our brake calipers.
Guys, thank you so much for all your tips and recommendations. I did spend 2 hours prizing out the caliper with like lube, WD-40, some BP bus rusts. I can't remember what it was called, but it was high penetrative like lube stuff. Finally got it out, and finally we got it to a place where we're happy with it working again. So
basically the slide pin that had seized, Ben got it unseized and then got it sliding back in and out perfectly again. So
thank you so much, guys. It means we didn't have to spend hundreds and hundreds of pounds on new calipers.
Exactly.
My next thing is to get the little rubber boots to do the other side, but thank you.
Help and advice.
Yes.
Appreciated. I was going to get the drone up, but not only is the border wall literally a stone's throw away, there have been military helicopters doing exercises. There's like 5 in the air. What?
Scout just scared the crap out of me. Same like rubbed my arm, and I saw him there first, and then I was like, ooh, but it was Scouts.
That's what you can probably hear in the background. But just to quickly show you some of the parcels we've got, because some of these are really exciting. I'm not going to go into too much detail, but we've got a silicone mold for the Omnia oven. Loads of you ask about the dish that we use to cook like our lasagna in, and sometimes like pasta bakes and stuff. It's a stovetop oven because we haven't got an actual oven in the van, and this just stops the food all sticking to the inside, which you'll be pleased about because Ben does all the cleaning. So this is an early birthday present for Ben. We've got the iCar Soft. This is the newer version. Is that going to be a bit loud?
It's quite loud. There's 3 helicopters just going round and round, dropping round and round. They're doing some sort of exercise, but
they're like dropping people from the helicopter, and they're getting closer.
What do you mean they're dropping people from the helicopter?
Is there not people hanging?
No, that was like they were carrying something to drop.
Oh, I thought it was like the.
Someone's going. Ah!
That's what I thought.
No.
We've also got the iCar Soft version 3. This one will give us our DPF readings, so we can assess whether our DPF is going to be getting clogged. More on that later on when we start to really need to use it, but this should hopefully help us get through countries that have got low quality diesel.
It's a diagnostic tool, so we can see what's going on with the van. They're really, really handy to have.
Yep.
We've got version 2, but it doesn't do our DPF live reading.
Yep.
Where this will.
This new one has the DPF readings, which is why we've got it. Extra cable for the Starlink. Okay, so we also have, this is a carbon filter for our composting toilet. Now, as some of you know, we have a composting toilet called a Simplu, and you have 2 ways of venting it. You can either drill a hole in your van and pipe out from the back of the toilet outside of your van and get rid of the smell that way. What we chose to do is use a carbon filter. So there's a pipe that goes from the back of the toilet, a little fan, and it blows it into this carbon filter. Now, you're supposed to use them for 6 months one way, and then turn them over and do the 6 months the other. We've had this for 2.5 years, and the only reason that we're getting a new carbon filter is because the fan broke. It has been amazing, hasn't it?
Yeah, it has lasted so long, isn't it?
You wouldn't even know there was a toilet in the van. It doesn't smell in the slightest, but time for a new carbon filter anyway. That one probably is on its way out, so that was an important one, and obviously we've got a new fan as well. One of our most important ones for traveling down through Central America. We have got, thanks to Bug Wall, a rear fly screen for our rear doors. Now in Canada, you might remember we fitted one for our sliding door. We've now got one for our rear door. We will show you us putting this on when we do it in the next few days, but that is going to be...
I can't wait because it's been so hot.
Yeah,
just having the back doors open and the air circulating through. Oh, it's brilliant.
Makes all the difference.
But
so
we need that, yeah. So
that, and
thank you, Bug Wall.
And our merchandise samples have arrived.
Literally.
This is what has delayed us by about 3 weeks, but they've arrived. They're looking freaking awesome. We'll show you those later on. Mexico, here we come.
Time for tacos, tequila and margaritas, I think.
Yes, absolutely. Those helicopters are so loud.
They are really loud, aren't they?
I think they're getting closer, and each time they circle round. Yeah, but you have to do it on a beat.
Do you want to lead?
So, seeing as we're not in Mexico just yet, we're bringing Mexico to us. Having tacos.
Taco Wednesday.
Taco Wednesday. From Chesca's Taqueria.
Oh, thank you very much, baby. Oh, they look good. Cheers, baby.
Cheers to our last night in the States.
Yeah.
It is border crossing day today. Tijuana is one of the busiest border crossings in the entire world. Something like 106 million people cross there every year. There are a couple of smaller border crossings that we could have taken, which we did last time we came into Baja. We went through a place called Tecate, but there is somewhere that we want to visit that is just past Tijuana, so it makes sense for us to use the Tijuana border crossing. Always a little apprehensive border crossing days, especially as with this one, we are not coming back. We're just heading straight south. But we've heard that it's best to give like the morning rush hour time to calm down. So we're just having some toast, getting the van ready, and then it's on to Mexico.
Yeah, so just need to work out what lane we've got to go in.
We last came to Baja in February of this year, escaping the cold winter. We'd already done it at the US-Mexico border before and thought we knew what to do and had everything under control. We quickly found out this was not the case.
Babe, this isn't right.
Right. We don't even have to show anything.
It's because we went in the wrong lane. We should have got our temporary import and our visa.
Do you know what? I knew we had to go to something to declare.
This is literally in Mexico. We're gonna have to go back to the US border and then cross back again if they'll let us back in.
We're literally in Mexico with no paperwork.
In Mexico, no paperwork, yeah. Okay, we've just massively messed this up. We completely missed the... Basically, when you go through with an RV through the Tijuana border, you have to go in the something to declare lane. And we didn't, we missed it, and so we just went through the normal lane.
Yeah, so just need to work out what lane we've got to go in.
They checked the van, and then we were just in Mexico. We haven't got our FMM, which is like our personal visa. We haven't checked the van in, and now we just had to just drive, loop around Tijuana, and now we're going back across the US border, see what they say, and then we're gonna have to come back and do it all over again.
Oh, yeah.
I can't believe we did that. We were just in Mexico, and we're like, that isn't right. We just basically drove through.
They didn't ask for anything, like when they did the van check.
We didn't even show our passports. Yeah. Oh, we thought we did the Tijuana one, and we thought the Tijuana one, because it's the busiest, would be the most straightforward.
Yeah, well it was. We just drove straight through.
Actually, technically it was. It means that we're technically illegal here until we can cross back over.
Oh God. How long are you going to be here for, sir? Half an hour? Just need to cross back over there.
Okay, here we go. Well, we first entered was Maine, but the last one was Washington. We've been into Canada and stuff since Maine. He was one of the friendliest US border guards that we chatted to. He was chatting to us about the van and about the trip. He was like, we explained what had happened, and he couldn't believe that we've had to like loop back round and come back in, but he was absolutely fine about it. So now we're back in the US, back in the US, and now we are going to go back. You want to stay in this lane though? Oh no, I'm sorry. And now let's do this Mexico border one more time and do it right this time. So this is what we missed. We ended up going down there.
Use the right 2 lanes to take the exit toward Playas de Tijuana.
And we need to go in here, something to declare.
Oh, right, now.
That was good. We are all through, got our temporary import permit, got our FMM visas. The woman there was the slowest customs officer I've ever seen. She was like, has anyone seen Zootopia with that sloth?
Exactly what she was like.
Literally what she was like, but we're through. It might have taken a bit longer than we thought, but we've got everything we needed, and we are now officially, legally in Mexico. Well, back to Mexico.
Oh, what an absolute palaver that was.
It was
oh my god.
chaos. Completely our own fault.
Well, it might have been a stressful start to Mexico, but it feels so good to be back.
It does.
So it's really nice. Cheers, babe.
So in case you're wondering exactly what the hell happened at the border this morning,
Absolute fiasco.
basically, if you're heading into Mexico or into Baja and you're not driving past Tijuana, you don't need an FMM, which is like a Mexican visa, and you don't need a temporary import permit for your vehicle. So they do have the option for you to just drive through.
Yeah.
However, if you're driving past Tijuana out of the border zone, you do need an FMM, the Mexican visa, and your insurance is invalidated without it, so you absolutely do need it. And if you plan on driving in mainland Mexico, like we are, outside of Baja, you also need a temporary import permit. So it was so important that we got the FMM and the TIP at the border. The mistake we made was the area that we thought you have to go to get the FMM and the TIP, we thought was like a separate lane. It was called the something to declare, which was us, our van, but we thought it was a lane. So we just followed all the lanes around and then realised kind of almost at the last minute that it's like an offshoot into like the wall, and it's like around this corner and you go and park up in there. So it actually isn't a lane. You've got to divert yourself out of the main flow of traffic. And because there wasn't much traffic, everything was moving really quickly, so we were just kind of scooting around. This guy was beckoning us over to have like the van checked, and before we knew it, he checked the van and released us into Mexico without the FMM and without the TIP. Like, thankfully, as we're still in Tijuana, we weren't illegal, because you don't need an FMM if you're just in Tijuana.
Yeah.
But
we did think that at first, though. We were in the country illegally because we had no stamps, no forms,
they hadn't
nothing.
checked. They hadn't even looked at our passports.
Yeah.
So we were not really sure what was going on, and that was why we had to do this quick U-turn through some dodgy areas of Tijuana and then get back into an hour-long queue.
Yep.
To get back into the US. The US border guard found it hilarious, and then go back into Mexico and do it properly this time. But the whole reason that we were going to go through Tijuana was we really wanted to go and visit this little seaside village called Puerto Nuevo, which is known as the lobster village, and it's famous as a place you can have fresh lobster for like breakfast, lunch and dinner for like the price of a burger. Like, it's like grilled and buttered the special way. Because we were so long getting everything sorted on the border, we couldn't leave these guys in the van for any longer, and we just made the executive decision to get on to our campsite for tonight, which is where we are now, and just get ourselves settled. We're going to have plenty of opportunity for amazing seafood on the way, and if you are coming down from Tijuana and you've got the time, stop up at Puerto Nuevo at the lobster village and let us know how it is.
Send us a photo, or send Chess a photo. I don't like lobster.
Weirdo. Send me some photos and let us know how it is. But yeah, so that has been our day. It has been a crazy start to Mexico.
Cheers to being back in Mexico.
Cheers to Mexico. You did so well. You did so well.
Where's River?
Behind me. Some of you might remember when we were here last time, we went to a beautiful restaurant called Deckman's. It was a big like farm to table restaurant. They had this huge open kitchen, fairy lights everywhere, big fires where the chefs were cooking. It was honestly one of the best meals we've had. So we're only here for one night. So I rang up this afternoon and they had one table left this evening. So we're gonna go and treat ourselves, have a nice glass of wine, a nice meal, celebrate being back in Mexico and just decompress after this morning.
All the devil's past, and he is waiting fast to set his own track.
Just looks so pretty with all the fairy lights.
It does, doesn't it?
Burrito mode activated.
Go, Sky, go. Up, up.
Oh no, no babe, actually I'm gonna get trapped. I'm gonna get trapped.
You're going to start to panic. I know you are.
Oh, that wasn't very nice.
Claustrophobic mode activated.
It's not much fun being a burrito. As we said, we are only here for one day. We might have crossed into Mexico, but our mission is far from over. So, in less than a week's time, Ben, where are you? This one is turning 40.
Thanks.
On the 2nd of November, which for those of you that know is the Dia de los Muertos, is the Day of the Dead. So of course we have to combine his 40th birthday with some Day of the Dead celebrations. Our original plan was to be in Puerto Vallarta on the mainland, but with our delays with the parcels and the breaks, we just absolutely could not make it in time. In fact, our backup option, which is to go and celebrate it in Cabo San Lucas, right down on the southern tip of Baja, we are going to be pushing it. We have got to put some big drives in. From where we are now, Cabo is about 19 hours drive away, and we need to be there in about 3 or 4 days. We can't do crazy long drives with the dogs, so I'm not really sure how this is going to work, but we're going to give it a go and we're going to try and get down to the southern tip of Baja. The great thing is, because we came here before in January and February, we have an idea of where we want to stop, where we can stop en route, and kind of what the roads are like. So we feel like we have some prior knowledge of what to expect, but it means we've got some pretty crazy drives over the next couple of days. Days like this, we do not make the bed, so that we can just crash into it later without having to worry.
See you later, take care. Isn't it? Hello. Oh, hello, River.
Hello.
Oh, wow.
I've been watching you too, yes.
And so we began our long drive south, leaving behind the bustle of the north coastal towns and driving into the desert that covers most of the Baja Peninsula. Breakfast was a quick pit stop at the side of the road. We had to push hard today. Fuel and rest stops are few and far between out here, and we had 400 kilometers of nothingness to traverse. Hola, buenas tardes. Well, that is the last petrol station that we're going to see for a while. We've been following the coast south this morning, and now the road is going to turn east and we're going to be crossing the Baja Desert. It's something like, what, 400 kilometers of...
400 kilometers, yeah.
400 kilometers of absolutely nothing. Just cactus everywhere. This road is fast and narrow with no hard shoulder or anywhere to escape onto.
3 pretty windy as well, isn't it?
Windy and lots of lorries and big trucks. We're just driving through one of our favourite sections of this road. It's this huge valley of giant cactus and giant boulders. It's really, really cool, and it just looks like something from the Flintstones.
It is barren, isn't it?
So barren.
2 hours we've been driving on this road and it's just been nothing apart from a few.
The odd
lone
house,
house.
but nothing nothing.
Nothing crazy, eh?
No. Final push?
Yeah, go
Let's
on.
do it. Not far away now, but we're just chasing the sun and hoping to get there before it gets dark.
Oh,
that's a nice hoodie you've got there.
oh, it's a nice hoodie there. Oh, show you more later.
Right, we have made it to Guerrero Negro. This is kind of like one of the main pit stops on your way south.
And this is where Scout chased all those coyotes, so they're on the leads.
Yes, well they were on leads anyway,
Oh, true.
but this is where Scout escaped the van and chased off the 7 coyotes that were surrounding the van. So we are a little bit like, oh, brings back memories, this place. These are the marsh flats that Ben and I chased Scout off into the sunset. The tide is really far out at the minute. But now we're all gonna stretch our legs, give these guys a good run, get some food on, and then relax. This was our last super big drive. I think our next drives are gonna be more half days. We just needed to get one big day in order to get down to Cabo for your birthday celebrations.
Yeah. Mwah. Good morning.
We need to go before we get flooded in. The sea. Have a look at it around here. Do you want to show everyone?
Yeah. There was a full moon last night, so I think obviously the tides are higher. And this block is starting to fill up where we need to go out.
You just here.
You can just see it over there. Look how full it is over there.
Just on here.
And all the way along.
Oh wow. But yeah, an abrupt leaving of that park up. But yeah, we are on our way now back across the interior of Baja. We have got one more big drive today. We've only probably about 4 hours, and not as big a drive as yesterday. We're starting to feel it. We slept like babies last night, didn't we?
Yeah.
I'm feeling a bit tired today. My hair's greasy, needs a wash. Just want to get there. We are going back somewhere very, very special, just for a day where we're going to slow down and relax, enjoy the beach before it's off to Cabo for Ben's birthday. But we are very, very much looking forward to this. Some of you will recognise where we're going. There's not very many military checkpoints on this road, but there is one that we're about to reach, and there's so many comments on iOverlander about this checkpoint, like so many. But the latest one from September is that they asked them for a bribe, and I'm just really hoping they don't do that, because I'm just have not got the energy to deal with that today. I just want to get to the beach. Hola. Buenos dias.
Hola, buenos dias.
Successful check, no bribes, thankfully. We made it to the sea. We made it across the desert, the longest road in the world, and we're here. Not long to go. Not long to go.
After 2 days of driving, we're on the last 2 kilometres. It's literally just over this hill and around the bend, and we are there. Oh.
And you know what?
Oh my
but can I just say, look,
Oh yeah.
we thought it was going to be too busy, but I don't think it's going to. We're going to get our little palapa
We're
back on
going
the end.
all the way to the end. There's hardly anybody here.
We might have just driven for 2 days and we feel absolutely grim, but it's been worth every minute. This is what we came for. In fact, Ben just said, shall we scrap Cabo and spend my birthday here instead? Are you being serious about your birthday? This is a really special place to us. We came here in February. It was meant to be for 2 or 3 days. We ended up staying for 3 weeks. Had an amazing time here, spent time with Chris and Marianne here, with Nick and Kim. It's just got a special place in our hearts, and it's even better than we remembered.
And
This is our happy place. You know what, we promised ourselves that this time we're going to come for one night and we are not going to get trapped here.
that could literally change in a heartbeat, couldn't it?
This place puts a spell on you, honestly.
The jury is still out on whether or not we're going to get trapped here for my birthday. Who knows?
Yeah, but before we go, there's one thing we got to do.